Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hangout on ECS Magazines. I am your host tonight. This is Primo from Executive Automotive Society. You can see Reggie there from ECS Magazine. He's going to be putting everything together, and he's got some hard work to do, still working on his magazine stuff and working on his stuff. But as always, we're doing this every Saturday at 8 p.m. I want to give everybody a couple of seconds here to kind of jump in. This is an open forum discussion where we really, I think, what is it Mark was saying over there? He goes, we send the love. So that's, that's what we plan on doing, is continuing to send the love out there. Remember always that this is sponsored by Control Freak from controlfreakcompany.com. So, so we're going to get some stuff wrapped up here. We're going to get some sent outs for some invites. And while Reggie's getting that all together, we're going to start the conversation. So again, you guys know me, Primo, from Executive Automotive Society. And we're going to start off tonight with our buddy Mark here. Mark, can you do me a favor and introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're all about?
Well, my name is Mark Campbell. I'm president and CEO of Next Gen Car Club. And we are originated here from Connecticut. We're going into our third season. We started in 2018 when I bought my car. Well, no, you know what? I'll take that back. Really closer to 2019, because I was a part of 10 Gen Society first. Okay. And after being a part of their group for a while, I just found out that it just wasn't for me. I kind of wanted more. I had my own ideas. Mm-hmm. So that became the birth of Next Gen. That's how we came about. And now we're going into year 3, doing our own events, and we're taking this thing on the road national. We're doing about 8 different states besides Connecticut. Yeah. So I'm excited.
You that's the thing I've seen this year, which I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong, if this was different from any other year, but this year you seem to be really going hard for, like, just everywhere I look, there's just something about Next Gen out there. I think you were promoting to get people that were promoters to come on and join your team, and it really looked like you were putting a lot of work in this year. Is that something that I'm seeing right, or has that been since the beginning?
I feel like it's been that way from the beginning, but I feel like you're right. This year is definitely, I feel like, our year to kind of really branch out and really solidify New England, right, and the tri-state area. That was my goal this year. And then to hit some other states that just been asking about us. So, you know, we have our Connecticut and our tri-state group, but we also have a heavy following down south, Florida, and Vegas and California. I have a lot of family there.
Nice. Now, how many shows do you usually have in those areas, like Vegas and California?
This would be the first year.
Oh, wow.
Previous years, we've only done shows in New England. Mm-hmm. So this year, we start our season in Connecticut, April 9th.
Nice.
Then May 7th, we'll be in Massachusetts. June 11th, we'll be in Jersey. July 23rd, we'll be in PA. Mm-hmm. And then we're not doing any events in August. Then September, we will be in downtown Hartford at the skate park. We're doing a big charity car show in the downtown Hartford area. Nice. And then after that, we'll be in Florida in October, Vegas, November, and then LA in December.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to have problems writing all that stuff down. I, by the way, I'm getting very old and my memory is really shoddy. So is there a place or a website that they can go to say, how do I keep updated with Next Gen events?
Definitely, yes. Our Instagram and our website, we do have flyers with all of our dates on it, straight all the way down to Vegas.
Good.
All the way down to California, rather.
Nice. Well, we got somebody else that jumped in here real quick, and I think everybody here, I hope, remembers and knows him. But Joel, would you like to introduce yourself and go over your deal? Because I see your lower third is up and running today too, so everything's back to normal.
Yeah, I was going to start off with hello. My name is Joel, and I'm an owl. No, that's the wrong speech.
Right.
Right. My name is Joel Chappell, and I'm with NewEnglandAutoShows.com. NewEnglandAutoShows.com is a website to hopefully keep track and list as many of the car shows, cruises, and events that are happening within the New England area.
Right. Well, do you have next gen events on there?
I do have the New England Next Gen events happening, and they are on my calendar.
See, Mark, everybody's already ahead of you, man.
I appreciate it, man. We need all the love we could get.
So I mean, and that just proves that just proves the entire thing that I keep saying that 90% of the car shows and events that are happening out in New England don't even know that I'm listing and or have information on their events.
You impress me because you have stuff where I'm like randomly like, hey, I'm gonna have Mark on tonight. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Joel, do you have his event? Yes. Like I bet I could bring on 16 other people and they would just be, no, I bet he doesn't have those events. No, he has those events.
I mean, I'm now getting to the point right now that there might be like a couple that it's like, like you'll introduce me to somebody and you might mention their event and I'm like, I might have it, right. Because, I mean, right now I'm tracking like over 600 plus events. So
they're a blur at this point, right?
Right. Yeah. But I mean, right now I have, hold on, I can actually give you an exact definite.
Mark, we don't have to make it to all those events, by the way.
For the actual annual events right now, I have confirmed dates of 169, and then I'm trying to keep track and find out about the additional 391 events that I don't have confirmed dates yet for.
391 is confirmed dates. Wow. And I thought I was chasing stuff down.
And then that's not even counting the weekly and monthly events.
Right.
That I have listed in as a separate list, which that list right now is at 170.
Yeah.
That's about a third of those are confirmed start dates.
Right. Or as I like to say, oh my God.
Right. Right.
A lot. And the thing, okay, I got a question. Which area?
Yes, go ahead.
in the New England area, do you think has the best shows? What's the best state?
Connecticut, definitely. But I
writing this down, Mark, because that's where you need to be.
I will say that my go-to New Hampshire event that I just love to go to, there's two of them, and the Camaro Club one that's at the Budweiser plant is an incredible show. Yeah. And then also it's ironic because there's a main street in Manchester and Connecticut, which I hear is spectacular, but the main street or it's actually Elm Street in New Hampshire, which is that show is just like crazy, like 1,000 cars. Easy.
Yeah, I've gone to the one in Manchester because I owned a restaurant in Manchester in the 90s, and I used to go to that show for quite some time because we used to vendor there as well.
Nice.
And that's a pretty big show. A lot of classic cars, a lot of muscle cars.
Yeah.
Really big show.
Well, my thing right now, and I want to say United States wide, I don't know if we have anybody that can give me input from like car shows in like Germany or England or stuff like that. I'd love to have him. By the way, I just want to say, Kenny Carpenter, what's up, ECS Magazine? What's up, Kenny? Thank you for tuning in. David Morgan, I think we're just a little crazy, but I guess we love going to car shows. We absolutely do, and we're going to keep doing it. But that's the thing is in the States, a lot of people kind of have that argument of what place has the best shows. I know there's big shows in a lot of places that are not common, but I kind of tend to think that either Florida or California kind of I keep hearing Florida all the time and California. So I don't know if they have the best of the best.
I would say, yeah, I think it's between those two. I honestly do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of people who have told me that there's a few like very large events in Arizona that are like killer, but also, believe it or not, like a surprising state that's on West Coast that I've heard about and I've never been to, which is Oregon. Has you would never think of it, but apparently they have some great ones over there too.
Another big shout out to Chaotic Danny. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. The thing that gets me is I have friends in California, and it's funny because they always message me and tell me, like, I'm sitting out in my front yard and I just had a Nova drive by, and then an Impala, and then a Lamborghini. And then they're like, yeah, this is your world out here. And why aren't you moving out here? And I'm like, well, I'm kind of here. So Chaotic says, don't sleep on Texas. No, I will not sleep on Texas. You guys love doing everything big there. And I'm sure that the car shows are big. I would like to see some
Texas?
more people. Yeah.
Texas. I would love to go there.
I want to see more guys send me stuff. The thing is I don't get a lot of information from Texas. And that's what I know that they have some crazy stuff out there. I need to have more access to it. And there's Joshua saying, evening, gentlemen. So, hey, Joshua. Go ahead, Mark.
The guy I follow from Texas, Sinclair Photos. He has a Supra, the wide body. His car was in SEMA this year.
Nice.
I follow his YouTube channel. He goes to like some of the best events, I think, in Texas. Like the best shows, and he goes to like Cars and Coffees, like has like the best exotic cars. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I think regardless, I would like to see more, like I said, more from Texas. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, I don't know if they're growing or if they've always just been somebody that is kind of like, I want to say like Hyden. You always hear the stuff that from these other areas. And then, it's like, just make some more noise in that area. You know what I mean? And then, what was it, Joel? What's the one up in? Is it Detroit or is it Michigan or someplace over there that they have?
Michigan is deep. Yeah. Michigan got
Michigan, like Troy, Michigan. I know like has like a few of them too, and then
like 12,000 count car shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're big, and Ohio's pretty big too.
Yeah. A friend of mine went to a show in Michigan last year. They actually, I think it was with Hot Import Nights.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They did a festival last year, and it was in Chicago. I heard it was really, really nice, really big.
Yeah,
there's a friend of mine from Mass, Enzo Motorsports.
I love Enzo. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He brought like 3 cars down, I think. His McLaren and a couple other cars down there, and he told me that the car scene down there is really, really dope.
Yeah, Enzo is doing a ton of stuff. I've seen him trucking, and I think there's going to come a point when he's going to have to plane a car someplace to get to all events he's going to, and he just doesn't slow down. So Chaotic Danny says, I'm in Florida, born and raised, but Texas truck scene is fire.
Yeah, that's awesome. Crazy, bro. It's crazy.
So me and Joel talked about this the other day, but I did want to bring it up today, and it's good that we have like a full panel here kind of thing to kind of bang it off each other's heads here. But one thing that we're seeing, and I don't know if the prices went up again today, but gas prices have been going really high.
Yeah, it's going to really affect the scene this year, I think.
Well, Mark, give me some input on that. What do you think is going to happen?
I think guys are going to have to budget this thing this year. Like, we're already talking about it in my tri-state group and my New England group. Guys are saving up money just for gas this year to go to the shows because we're thinking ahead, because we know a full tank of gas may be 100, depending on what you're driving. I mean, most of us, you got to buy super unleaded.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, you could be spending. I know my sister drives an Audi SUV. She called me today and told me she spent $70 filling it up.
Right. That's the thing is that thankfully with my Genesis, I have the option of 87 or 93, but everything else I have is pretty much 93, and that's it. So, Joel, we talked about this the other day, but I still think you should throw your hat in the ring here and give some of your input about what you think is the shows are going to look like this year. Because are people going to be rationing tanks, or we're going to see something?
Yeah, I mean, you and I did, like you said, we discussed this. I believe it was Thursday night, and basically one of the conjectures that I put out is that I think we're going to see a shift of where people are actually going. Not necessarily that they're not going to go to an event, it's that they're going to go to some place that's either closer that they might not normally have gone to.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But I mean, I think it's also going to play. I think, I agree. I think people are definitely going to be like budgeting, where they're going to go, and how far they're going to go. I think that's going to be the big thing.
See, I think that's one thing, and in jump in here, Mark, if you agree with this too. I think the idea that we've had this happen before at basically $4 a gallon, $4.18, let's say $4.50. But for us, with like I said, running the big gas, we're going $5 a gallon no matter what. We didn't really change much in, I want to say, the 2010, 2011, what kind of shows we went to. I think it was more of the idea of we knew what we were going to, and it was spatially oriented. So if I was going to your show and I was going to High Import Nights or something like that, I'm still going to those shows. So because I think they're good shows and I want to spend that money. Well, the big thing for me is that I think do we adjust our thinking once the price is $7 a gallon, or dare I even say it, like $10 a gallon? Jeez. Now, like you were saying, we're definitely saying, I don't know, High Import Nights maybe in New Hampshire. I don't know if I want to do that 3-hour drive when I can just do a nice meet locally with a couple of friends and have a coffee or something. And I think that kind of changes dynamic. So give me some input on how you feel about that. Do you think that's right?
I think it's going to affect, because here's what we're doing right now in my New England chapter and my tri-state chapter is, I know for the start of the season we have 2 car shows. And they're both on the same day. There's Quinnipiac in Hamden, and then there's Elite Tuner at ACO. So we just split the groups up and just said, all right, I don't want to have guys drive from Jersey or PA to come to Hamden just so we can be 20 cars deep. We're just going to have to split it down the middle, and 10 cars or 15 cars are going to go to Elite Tuner, and the people that are in New England can go to Quinnipiac, unless you can afford it, because like right now we have only 1 car from New England that's going to go to Elite.
Yep.
And the rest of the cars are mostly are going to stay in Connecticut, because it's just, I don't want to kill people at the start of the season with gas. So I figure let's split it up with certain shows, and for the big shows, then we'll all, like for IFO, for, Hot Import Nights, those certain big shows like ECS Magazine, we'll drive out to Jersey for that, So that's kind of like how we're going to play it.
Yeah. So I'm going to add into this chaotic Danny, lower attendance at shows, and then he follow up again with more locals and less people from out the area. So that was it. Just a reminder, everybody, we're ECS Magazine Hangout. This is sponsored by Control Freak from controlfreakcompany.com. This is a regular hangout show. It's something that's open. We allow a lot of people to come in and kind of give their information and share stuff with us. And we just happened at this very second perfectly time to have
one more thing too before I forget.
Yes.
Another thing that we're doing to try to help is we're not charging spectators this year for any of our shows.
Yeah.
We're only going to charge for spectator parking. So people can come with 10 people in their car and pay $20 to park and not have to worry about paying $20 for each person. That way our vendors and our event can be more successful, and people don't have to, spend all this money just to get into a car show.
Right. All right, so Dino, you were the first to jump in here, so I think you were the next guy on the Price is Right today to or what is it, Hollywood Squares or whatever it is, to introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do, buddy. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Going on? I'm Dino. I shoot for Reggie, ECS Magazine. Some might know me as I have a car that I show, 1.6 Ford, that's getting rebuilt and coming back out. Hopefully this year to shows, and that's pretty much it.
Nice. All right, and do you have? And by the way, we're going to do one more with you, but I'm going to come back to you. Have you been watching the show so far, Dino?
Say that again.
Have you been watching the show so far and kind of caught up to what we were talking about?
No, I was trying to figure out here how to get on this damn thing again.
Perfect. So we'll be right back. We got Danny here. Danny, if you can introduce yourself and let everybody know what your crew is, and then say some hellos.
Hey, no, I run New England Innovations. I'm building an FDR7. I'm in the process of trying to find 4-inch piping, which is pretty hard to find. That I found out. Besides that, like, I haven't been on for like last couple of weeks because my daughter has surgery. So,
she okay? Everything good?
Yeah, she's doing well. She had hernia surgery.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but everything you said, everything's all good, and she's recovering, and
yeah, she's back to her normal self, running around, jumping around.
Awesome.
So, I mean, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna jump on. She already went to sleep.
Nice. All right, so we had Glenn Brown who said, "What are we talking about? My browser is too old." We are talking about cars, car shows, and the big topic right now has been kind of how this new gas thing is going to be affecting our show scene this year, and just basically how we deal with cars shows in general right now. Is things going to that's the beauty of this is we came off of this big illness thing that locked everybody up for 2 years straight pretty much. We came off of that. We started this year. We were just told everything's out. We're ready to go. Everything's going to be great. And then got the door slammed on us with $5 gas prices. So $5 per gallon. So now people are paying like $100 a tank. It's a pain in the butt. So one thing that I think, Mark was saying that people are going to kind of pick and choose the shows they go to. Joel, I think you kind of agreed with the same thing. He had his own spin to it, but let's see. Replying to Glenn Brown, Glenn's being shy. All right, cool. Perfect. But yeah, so since we have Dino on, you jumped in first. So what do you think is going to be the change in the car show world based on $5 a gallon?
I think it's definitely going to affect the shows, especially in my area, in the New York, New Jersey area.
Yeah.
What do you guys have for gas prices right now?
Right now we're at regular, in some places is like we're between like 409 and 420.
Okay, that's not too bad, but yeah, okay.
But the problem here is, especially from people like, let's say they're going to Jersey from Brooklyn or something, you have to pay multiple tolls just to go to the show.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the tolls.
Go Reggie.
I started to see a drop before COVID in shows with that. Now the gas prices, that's going to affect the shows as well, I think. Right. And what a lot of people don't factor into is there's a lot of people that are still scared of the virus to come out.
Yes, totally.
So I personally know 3 people that haven't been to a show since this started and don't plan on going to a show just because of coronavirus.
I'm seeing the opposite. I see people walking around like they forgot. Like,
right.
Don't get me wrong. There's a small percentage that won't go. I see that too. but there's some things like that. And then, the other thing is, a lot of people right now, money's a problem. I don't know how everybody's electric has gone up through the roof.
You're right.
So I think going back to somebody said, I think people are going to pick and choose what shows they go to. I know me personally.
You're here modeling for us, so I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted. Yeah, go ahead.
I know for me personally, I'd rather go to the bigger shows rather than maybe like a local parking lot show, only because the bigger shows tend to have some more stuff you don't normally see. And like you said, with gas and tolls, like everything for me is travel. Like I'm in Staten Island. So to go to like
shit.
York, Pennsylvania is, 2.5, 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's going to affect it. The shows, I kind of like what he's doing up there. Like he said, he's not charging spectators, so that's like an incentive for people to go out as well.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
And that's something I think too, that especially with spectators, I think that it's something we didn't talk about before, but I think that's huge. Spectators have effectively less of a drive to, I mean, we're kind of inverse in the car world. Like the car, if you drive a car, you're totally wanting to go to a show. There's a lot of drive, but as a spectator, you're not as driven to go to a show as you would be. So if you say, hey, just walk in the door, and I always say too, and I hate to say it like this, that everybody seems to forget it, is the charity aspects that come into this, and bringing in spectators has always been important. So I think it's good to bring it back to that and say, let's have the spectators, remind them that they're giving back to the community. We're not collecting stuff from them, and show them that there's a value to going to these shows. And that may drive them to go, we should go out to that and at least enjoy the cars, because there's people, we know that guys that don't have cars are trying to build to their next thing. And I don't want to go out until I have a car. No, we want you to come out and support these events now more than ever. It's so important, and having stuff like a charity piece to that, and being able to say, look, if you just show up and you give to the charity, your attendance matters, and that's huge. So I'm going to get to these comments real quick here. Rick Kennedy, I go to everything. I love the auto scene, but the bigger shows are the best for seeing the most craftsmanship and time to put into a car and truck. Nobody's going to argue with that, I don't think. Kat, like Danny, I'm in Miami. Local shows are almost non-existent here, and I have to travel to Orlando or Tampa for the good shows. They're 3 hours away. That's something that I didn't know about. Thanks for letting us know about that.
Where is he in? What part of Florida?
He's in Miami, and he says he has to go to.
Yeah, he's right. He's right though, because for our show we're doing in Florida, I looked in Miami. Most of the car community out there in Florida is towards Tampa, Orlando, and Kissimmee.
Yes.
To do Miami is very difficult, and it's expensive. It's expensive out there to get venues.
Yeah. And that's
Lowrider was supposed to do Miami, and they've canceled the last 2 years. They were supposed to do their show tour, and for some reason they've canceled Miami the last 2 years. I thought there was a scene in Miami, but from what I understand, maybe somebody correct me if I'm wrong in this, is that area, Fort Lauderdale, more big on the donk scene, like the big wheel cars?
Great question.
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Because I know the Kissimmee and Orlando area is where all the imports is. There's a lot of, I see tons of imports out there in that area.
And I think Joshua's on here. I think he's in that area too. Joshua, if you can see this or hearing what these guys are saying, do me a favor, make a comment, because I think you know that by experience what the scene looks like down there. And he says, Fort Lauderdale is big of exotics and hypers, and then chaotic big trucks with big wheels. So, I think exotics and hypercars, that makes a lot of sense, especially in Fort Lauderdale. That's because I remember when I went down last time, I went specifically for that. So anyways, I'm sorry, Mark, go ahead, finish your stuff.
No, it's all good. No, I really just was just saying that, like, with that area, I know me personally, the venues I'm looking at is in Tampa and Orlando.
Yeah, and comparatively price-wise, to host in those areas compared to hosting in, say, let's just say Boston, or maybe on the outskirts of Boston, some place, I guess you'd say cheaper, if you will. How much is the price difference between those areas?
It's about the same. Because typically for venues, I typically look at airports and baseball stadiums, and like airstrips is kind of like what I'm looking at now for this year. Those are the locations that I like.
Are you having a lot of response from we used to have a lot of problems back in the day asking airstrips to do stuff. Are you seeing more of an acceptance now, or is it still
definitely? That's how we got the airport in Mass. Orange, Mass they were very cool. I just spoke with the police chief a couple of days ago out there. They're gonna help us out with, police officers for the event. And they're pretty cool. The airport there in Orange, Mass, I think they said they've done car shows in the past, just not hundreds of cars, just maybe like 100 cars, something like that. So
Joe just put on the thing. He goes, "Look at the crew tonight." Like, yeah, we definitely have a full house of people tonight.
We in the building.
Wait, let me ask a question. Where is your event based out? Because I missed this in the beginning. So where is your event based out of?
Which one?
You, Mark.
Yeah.
Where are you based out of?
Because he's got a bunch.
Oh, where do you you're running all over the place, or?
Well, yeah, we're doing 8 states this year. So our first event is April 9th, which is the Car Club Battle. And after that, then we're in Mass on May 7th, and that starts our car show and model competition. And that's actually being hosted by Nadia Carr, and she's out of Vegas. She's going to be shipping her GTR out here. Okay, and she's going to be hosting all of our events on the East Coast, all the way down to Vegas.
Right.
Oh, so you're going, oh, wow. So you get your thing goes all over then pretty much.
Yeah, this is our first year doing multiple states. So we're doing Connecticut, Mass, Jersey, PA, Connecticut again, and then we hit Florida. Then after Florida, we're in Vegas in November, and then we finish out in LA in December.
Where in Jersey are you running?
I have a spot locked in, which is a stadium in Trenton, but I might be moving it to an airport in Jersey.
Oh, I know the stadium. They've done a couple of shows in that place. I've went to some shows.
Yeah. It's not a bad place. It's just I think for what I'm trying to do, I'm looking for a different setup logistically. The way it's set up there, I may want to move it.
Now, when you said an airport, I know First Class Fitman used to run. I forget what town that was in. They ran like an airport type of thing.
The one in Jersey. Let me grab my book here.
If you say the name of the town, I just can't remember the town.
It's not Trenton, is it?
No, is it Trenton? No.
I want to find out where he's going to be doing them in Mass or Connecticut. I'll go to those.
So the Massachusetts one is in Orange, Connecticut.
Yeah. So Massachusetts is in Orange. Connecticut at in Orange, Mass. The name of the airport is.
And I'll jump in there. Glenn says, so are we talking shows local tonight? And what's the main chat about? Glenn, we've been kind of all over the chat, but for the most part, we've been talking about shows in general, people that are here that are hosting shows. And also we've been kind of talking about what the effects of the gas prices are going to be on our shows in our different areas. So we're kind of feeling out what the shows are going to be about. And Dino has been asking Mark here. So Dino's lower left, I think. And then Mark is center. I don't know what it might be mirrored on somebody else's screen. So, but yeah, so Mark's up top middle. So, and they're just kind of feeling some space out where their shows are.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on your page, Next Gen over there, and go look for your show in Connecticut or Mass and go to those.
Yeah, Connecticut is in Bristol, Connecticut.
Okay.
That's April 9th. Massachusetts is May 7th, and it's Orange Municipal Airport, and that's on 80 Airport Street in Orange, Mass.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely go through those.
So Adam McKeegan tells everybody, what's up, Adam? A lot of stuff is up.
Yeah, I think our Connecticut show, the Car Club Battle, is going to be a good one. We have about 21 car clubs registered. I've got about 150 cars already pre-registered for VIP.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get the link for VIP. I'll set up for VIP.
Yeah, it's gonna be lit. I think it's gonna be a great season. Our last year, our season opener, we had about 400 cars. We had cars from Jersey, PA, Mass, all over come out. It was a really, really great show. So I'm really looking forward to our season this year. I think bringing Nadia out to host our model competition is going to be huge. Not because she's not just a model, but she's also in the car scene. She has a GTR and a Audi R8.
So Glenn asked something, and I'm going to give this one to Joel here real quick. So most of the New England shows are imports. What do you say to that, Joel?
No.
No.
No. No. I mean, there's definitely a good number of import shows, but we have the car shows that are like pre 1965 or 1970. There's a few of those that are scattered around. We have the hot rod shows and then muscle car shows are like all over the place.
I'm going to a nice one April 2nd and 3rd in Naugatuck. It's called
that would be the Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever.
That's put on by Don Claddy.
Yeah, Don Claddy. Yeah, that show right there. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm hoping that show goes really well because poor Don. I mean, he had to cancel I think for 2 years straight. So I think this is like the first one that he's going to have. I don't think he did one last year. I'm 90% sure it was canceled again.
No, he didn't. It was canceled.
So I'm hoping it goes really well for him because that's always been a spectacular show, and
he's gonna have a great show. We're helping him promote it. He's my guy. I love that guy, man. Really, really cool guy.
Yet another show that's listed on the NewEnglandAutoshows.com website.
I think in Mass going on right now, there's a big show, Mark's Motorsport.
Yeah, that is in West Springfield.
Yeah,
in Massachusetts.
So let me add
that actually started Friday night, and then it was today, and then it's also going on tomorrow as well.
So Reggie wants to jump in here and talk because I think we're kind of trampling over him. What's up, Reggie?
No, I just wanted to make a statement because there's so many people coming in here, and I think the main people that's in here right now are in New England, and I want everybody to know that we're open source for all types of car custom rides out there, mini trucks, imports, rat rods, muscle cars, you name it, we put it in the magazine. Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt, but as of right now, I am finishing up on the late print magazine. It's supposed to be released on March the 1st, but I'm supposed to release it tonight or tomorrow morning. But to answer Glenn's question, why he's in here, he actually is a part of some kind of a podcast, by the way, I believe.
Okay.
So, but just to let you know that we do go down to Mini Trucking Nationals. Glenn knows who I am. East Coast Styles Magazine. We do this down there. I think what's kind of got some people confused that's coming in here is because the group that's in here right now is New England, but we cover the whole East Coast of the United States. So.
Oh, that I know. Yeah, that I know. I'm on that.
Yeah, the Custom Scene Podcast. That's what Glenn's part of.
Yeah, you guys blessed my very first car show that we ever did at the new Britton B Stadium.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because I kept reading everything while y'all were talking. I have myself muted. Danny, if you're muted or anybody else is muted, it's only because there's feedback going on somewhere on television or radio or something like that, and it's interfering with everybody's talking.
Got it.
So I don't have anything on.
Yeah.
No,
that's the thing is if you come in, make sure that it is an open forum. People always come in, but what happens is these microphones will pick up on every little thing. You have somebody 2 rooms over talking, it's going to pick them up. If you're cooking on the stove and the oil is crack-a-lack, if you will, they're going to hear it. So yeah,
Which I'm also going to let you know that even I don't know if anybody's aware of it, but I even muted myself. So I've been muted. I just unmuted myself to make that statement to let everybody know that we're open to all types of vehicles. We've been this way for over 21 years now. So,
nice.
But I'm going to let y'all go back to talking, Primo. I just let Danny know and everybody else know I'm muting myself as well as you too, because I got things in the background.
Yeah.
So Glenn was asking like what's going to be expected at that the Cabin Fever event, and that basically is it's classic muscle and trucks, Jeeps, but they also have motorcycles as well. Don mostly kind of specializes in the motorcycle scene, but he does like a car scene as well, and he does very well with it.
And he doesn't restrict anybody that can go to his show. If you want to go to his show and drive whatever you want to drive, you can go to that and do it, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, honestly, I haven't been to that event yet. It's one of those ones that's kind of like my bucket list item of events to get to in New England.
Got it. Okay.
He does. I've been to his shows. I've actually entered in his shows. I've had my car, and he does allow everything. I've seen imports there. A friend of mine that owns a lot of movie cars here in Jersey, he always has. They'll have like a movie car there, Christine or the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
I think he's got Knight Rider showing up this year.
Nice.
I think I saw that in an announcement.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah, he do.
Yeah. I want to see some more Mad Max stuff. You guys are big Mad Max fans?
You know, it's funny because they had some Holdens in that. In that thing, right?
Exactly.
And so, so there's not a lot of Holdens.
No.
In the Americas. So that.
But every time we get one, we love them.
Right. The closest Holden we have is the 2005 GTO, because that's technically a Holden.
And not just from the aspect of saying like cosplay, in other words, recreating a Holden or doing stuff like that, but there's a lot of stuff, and it just became kind of this really niche thing where it was making something that's like this apocalypse car. So and gassers kind of jumped in too, because these gassers look great now. And if you've noticed, they've really exploded. Like I saw a ton of people posting about, okay, this is what this car is. This is what to see and know what it is. And it's so funny that I'm like, we've been doing this car show scene 30, 40 years I have, and I've never seen an instructional manual of people posting on Instagram going, by the way, I know you don't know what a gasser is. This is what it is. So when you go to the car show, you don't have to ask that gasser guy 17 times, what the heck did this come from? So,
right. It's funny. You were talking about some last week. I'd watched this last week as we talking about movie cars or whatever, and you brought up a car, or somebody did, and Reggie knows this car hits real close to home for me. Corvette Summer.
Yeah. Nice.
It's funny because a lot of people, you don't see a Corvette Summer, and a good friend of mine who actually just recently moved to Florida, I helped him build. He built this was maybe 10 years ago. He built a Corvette Summer car. I had no idea. I was into movie cars, and he buys a regular 77. It was a 77 Vet. And he says, yeah, I'm going to build this Corvette Summer. So I'm like, what the F is a Corvette Summer? No, you got to watch this movie, whatever. So when I saw
Mark
the
Hamill.
car,
yes,
yep, Mark Hamill. I said, there's no way you're going to build that car. And he did it in 2 years. He made it exactly like the car. He actually ended up selling it. It fell into some financial debt, and it ended up, now it's in Colorado somewhere.
Well, as long as it's still around, I think that's the big thing that matters. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate that he had so many times, especially with these kit stuff, that people used to tell me all the time I'm doing a kit car. And now I see people actually getting kits. They're a lot easier to do, and they'll complete them. But back in the day of the Lambo kits, before Audi was really breaking down on that, there would be a lot of people, I'm getting a kit, it's supposed to be cheap. They'll spend $30,000 and not realizing that it's a $60,000 car. Yeah. Now they're into it to 40 or 50, and I got to offload it for what people would put $40,000 into these cars and then offload them for $20,000 just so they could sell them. And now that's part of a barn find thing that people are finding these kit cars that people put this stuff into.
Half-built kits.
Right. And then reconstructing them and doing the work to them. And it's just incredible. I think it's one of those things I think that, especially with the way things are changing, because there's going to come a point when for a new car, you're not going to be able to buy fossil fuel powered, that it's going to be get a kit car. I can put any engine I want in it and start from scratch, and effectively it's still new. So, and we'll see how that works.
It seemed like it's funny that you mentioned this, because I actually did kind of like a search recently, and it seems like there's an explosion of Bradleys, the Bradley kit cars out there, and up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. It's like bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is Mark trying to speak there, or is he muted? Oh, we got somebody else. Whoa. This is the first time we've extended beyond the big six.
We're about to have the Brady Bunch happen.
All right. I think Glenn is the new guy in, right, Glenn?
Oh,
he froze. I can hear you a little. Froze. Oh, that connection's hard. Reggie's upset. No, that's not working.
You got to be in that Wi-Fi.
That almost made it too. Like it kind of felt like he was getting in, and then it's like
the Wi-Fi's are not working.
No, the Wi-Fi's are not working today.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So, if anybody, that's the thing is if anybody had seen a type, and I think we had this conversation last week, but I want to ask it again. If anybody had a type of car you would like to see come to the car shows that you normally don't see, what would that type of car be? And I'll start with Dino down here because you're new to this kind of thing too.
God,
something that would take off.
I've been through a lot of stuff, man. What would really, I would say cars like a newer, like an older car going electric. But I just recently saw that at the World of Wheels in Pittsburgh. A guy took a Mercedes. It was like an old, maybe like an 80s, and he did a whole Tesla swap.
Nice.
I was kind of saying, I want to see somebody do that. And then I go there and I'm like, okay, well, somebody already did it. Now I'm starting to find out. But something that would really.
Yeah. See, my thing is the Mad Max thing. I always want to see that come up. But I like I said, everybody has that thing that they miss. It was so funny that we had a group of guys with Corvairs. I don't know if you guys know the Corvairs.
A Mad Max type of build. It was an Acura. I want to say it was I can't remember what model Acura it was, but it was at H Day years ago, like a few years back. Some kid, he drove it from like Maryland or something like that. Yeah. And the car had no hood, no windows, just awesome. The frame, the engine, and it was sick. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It blew my mind. Right. That this dude just had just the engine, and you could see all the wiring but he had it was just so neatly done. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And they said it was an Acura. I think it was an Acura Integra, I want to say, is the frame that he used.
So Mark, if you had an opportunity to say what new thing would you like to see in car shows, what do you think it would be? Or something that has been forgotten?
That's tough. I've just like what he was saying. Like I've seen so many. Like,
let me add. I'm going to throw a curveball in for everybody on this one. You ready?
Okay.
If I told you 2 years ago, that SUVs are cool, would you say like, yeah, I like SUVs. I think they could fill up a car show.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of SUVs would you see? Ooh, pause, didn't you?
That's the thing. I am that guy that absolutely is very mad at Lamborghini and Porsche for breaking into the SUV market. I think it's sacrilege. I think it's awful. I don't understand like the hubris of spending that amount of money on something that just doesn't handle like a Lamborghini should handle.
Right. And you haven't, then at some point I got to get you in a Lamborghini Urus. And when you get done driving that, if you can tell me that car does not perform at least like a Huracan, it will be shocking. Remember, there's different settings, but when you drive that car, it will take you for a ride.
I'm sure it will, but the basic functionality of it, like if I'm going to buy a Lamborghini, I want to buy a Lamborghini that's so ridiculously only
get what you're
purpose to
saying
go
now.
fast.
I get where
that's why you buy a
going.
Lamborghini. You don't buy a Lamborghini. I mean, that's like, that's a Lamborghini that you buy for your wife. It's a girl's car. It's not a man's car.
Like, who's speeding
I'm
in
sorry.
in a truck, in an SUV? Like,
And Joe Arujo just said, dude Loco from Connecticut had a dope SUV. And that's something this year has been the first year I've ever seen the explosion of the SUV market. Now, remember that Aston Martin did 224% more sales with their new DBX. The Lamborghini Urus is breaking there. That's the reason they're breaking records at Lamborghini and why they're being able to spend all this money developing and designing new vehicles. All these new brands have these, and now the Bronco. The Bronco, I am 100% sure we're going to see a car show season with these new Broncos coming out. We almost saw it at the beginning of the end of last year. So to see those come in is going to be amazing. And I tell me if I'm wrong. Do you think that we're going to see a lot of that?
But see, that's the one that makes sense. So like Ford has done it correctly, with the exception of the E Mustang. But for the most part, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. They brought the retro Mustang back, how many years ago, where they brought the retro look back, and everybody like that. The Mustang like exploded on the market again. Right. And then they're doing it again, I think, with the Bronco. I think the 2-door looks way better than the 4-door. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. But
yeah, me too.
But that aftermarket is gonna explode for that thing, and it's already selling like crazy. There are Instagram accounts that are that are exploding with that particular model, and it's right up there with what the Toyota Land Cruiser kind of thing, where that has that cult following type of thing. And I think the Bronco is going to definitely absolutely have that cult following. That's going to have like a great aftermarket scene, and it's going to start like they're going to start making up their own shows, I think.
Right. And I want to hear from everybody else here. I mean, are we looking at? Is everybody else would be excited about that? Would you say, hey, bring out the Range Rovers, bring out the whatever SUVs?
I think we're gonna see more electric cars. I think that's what's gonna happen, people.
Well, the custom electric cars. I don't think we're going to see a Tesla, we'll see a couple Teslas.
We're going to see these car makers. They're making more electric. Did you see the electric Porsche?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the cars are gonna. I know we love gas
going
cars,
electric
but
too.
Yeah, just made the news.
They're gonna switch it with this electric car, and maybe this gas thing is how they're gonna get that accomplished. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're gonna push us out of buying gas vehicles because of
I think that's going to depend on the market area. I don't think that's going to succeed very well in New England yet. Mm-hmm. I think like in the southern states, it's going to work a lot easier. But
because when you said SUV, it made me automatically think of electric, because people, it's all about compromise. It's all about,
the sneak peek of the electric Jeep just leaked out a couple of days ago, I think, and so that's definitely coming. You'll see some electric Jeeps coming, absolutely. But the problem is there isn't enough infrastructure in the New England area.
And I just looked this up too, and I said what percentage of new cars out there right now are basically all electric. And this is going to actually shock you, because it's based on buyer market, not on what people are trying to sell. And we've actually doubled our market over time. When I first started doing the research, I want to say 2018, 2019, hybrids and electrics only made up about 2% of the market. Now, with the push and being basically regulated into existence, we have to buy them. Even with that force coming in, we're still only at around 4.6%. So, like 500 cars or 1,000. If 1,000 cars come out, you're going to have, how many cars are going to be electric? 400 or whatever. You're going to have 1 or 2 electrics at it. It's the thing is saying I would like to see more both of electric. I don't think there's enough custom available for electric right now. They're really kind of getting their footing on it.
Not an aftermarket for it.
Right. And I'm part of a Tesla aftermarket group, and to see the stuff that they present and the things that they like and don't like, which is very important, because a lot of consumerism is going to control what people like. stance got a lot of negative feedback, and a lot of people stopped doing stance because, like the Kentucky squat gets outlawed. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that has to do with kind of societal pressures, if you will. So I'd like to see more with the aftermarket, but it is going to be based on their scene itself to kind of say how they would move forward. I'd like to see more, and I think Mark is right. Bringing Tesla tried that a while back, and I think that now is a good time to do the comeback of saying, let's put our cars at car shows, show what they can do, show the aftermarket potentials. You can do wheels, you can do this. There can be structural stuff that goes on, and once
there's 1,000 horsepower Tesla killing cars right now, killing cars.
2.3 seconds, 0 to 60 Teslas. You know,
just
it's like,
think about that.
Right.
So that's like the first. So now all these other car companies are gonna see that, and they're gonna try to emulate it. You know, it's a copycat. For everything.
Right.
So someone else is out there, Honda or someone is gonna try to do it.
Yeah.
And just look at the cars. How many two-door coupe cars can you even buy right now? Acura just came out with the Integra, right? And I was just watching that. And they refused to make it two-door. They made it a four-door sports car.
Right. And that the thing that we have to remember with these brands is they're spending billions of dollars to design electric technology that they don't have, which is why the sedan market and the coupe market for a lot of these companies was mothballed, why the electric hybrid of the Mustang was a SUV Mach-E. And that's why I say they're pushing where the buyers are, and the buyers are always the Ford F-150 is the venerable guy. It's going to take that spot and keep it. But littered through that top 10 is going to be SUV, 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 SUV. And we're seeing that in sales. The demand for the SUV is huge. So go ahead, Noah.
A couple of years ago when I went to the New England International Auto Show, I got in and now I'm trying to remember who was behind me, and she was cheering me on, but I happened to be sitting walking through the Buick display, and up in the front were all of the SUVs that Buick puts out, right? On the not quite on the rotating table, but prominently featured, and then tucked in the back, way in the back, almost as if it was the bastard child of Buick, and they were embarrassed that they had it, was the Buick Grand Sport.
Yeah. Bright
red, obviously they followed a Corvette parts truck and stole a whole bunch of freaking Corvette seats out of it and kind of thing. And it only had the V6 but the woman comes up and says, well, what do you think of the new Buick line? And I'm like, well, why is that car back there and not prominently featured up here? And I said, why is it all SUVs? And she goes, well, that's all everybody wants. And I said, because that's all you're showing us. You're not showing us anything else.
Yeah.
It's like auto manufacturers are embarrassed to admit that they have a sports car line, unless it's a Corvette and unless it's a Hellcat. And even then, it's not prominently featured at all. It's like they're embarrassed to admit that men exist in the world, and women too. And women too. Like, there are women who do love sport cars. There really are. I've met them. I've seen them customize cars. I've seen them. But the automotive market right now is afraid to admit that those people exist.
Right.
And I think it's awful, and that's why the culture is kind of dwindling, because we are literally having SUVs jammed down our throat in advertising. And
they see that as selling. Go ahead, Mark.
I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but a lot of what you just said has to do with the shape of the world.
Right.
And
I agree.
And you're talking about masculine men in the world today. How many masculine men it's a dying breed right now. Masculine men. Okay.
Well, masculine men that are afraid to admit that they're masculine because because they're going to be, they're going to be made to feel bad about being masculine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Because that's not the cool thing. I mean, like, what I think is very fascinating, because I'm in both.
Reggie's excited down there. If you notice, look at the light.
I've been watching him go.
Oh yeah.
I have a Corvette and I have a Jeep. And I went to a Jeep Jamboree, and like the first thing that like I noticed suddenly it was like the Jeep topless day, which I think is a hysterical thing. But the amount of women that were driving Jeeps, it was so cool to see, and they're doing their own builds, and
well, I gotta add this too. We've had lady driven New England.
That lady driven thing is absolutely amazing, and all those cars are amazing.
Right. They have been going on 2 years now. It's all race cars. It is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And one thing that I think is important for us is to make sure that we support groups like that, and not only to support them, but kind of help them go forward and say, one of the things is, and we're going to use that word, I'm going to say stereotypes. People think that stereotypically that we look at women and think that we're somehow intimidated by these women that can turn wrenches. No, we've been begging for women to turn wrenches for my entire lifetime. So thank you very much for being a part of this industry and wanting to race and come in there and give us a run for the money. We enjoy the competition. We love you being here. Please, more and more of you. If you ladies out there, if you want to, I know Reggie's going to get mad if he loses some of his models. You know what? He's just gonna look. He shake his head no. But that's the thing is if some of those want to pick up a wrench and put their thing and do that, we're not intimidated. We love you being a part of it. So I'm going to change real quick just to remind everybody we're at the hour mark as always, and we're still going strong here. Remember, this is ECS Hangout every Saturday at 8 p.m. ECS Magazine, sponsored by ControlFreakCompany.com. It's Control Freak. Check it out. They have some good stuff. I want to thank everybody that's come out tonight. Even if Glenn couldn't connect, he gave it his all. So that's important.
Gave it the college try.
Right. So this is the thing. Now I'm gonna talk about the most controversial subject that we've.
Well, you never finished going around like what car we wanted.
I know, you got to catch up if they don't talk.
We bounced around all day.
Right. So here's the thing. This is the most controversial topic we've ever talked about on the show. You guys ready for this? It's going to hurt everybody's feelings. You ready?
God. Oh, here we go.
Car show etiquette.
No,
here we go.
I wrote an article on it. I have from both perspectives. I have the etiquette for going to one and the etiquette for showing at one.
Joel, you're last because I know you have a ton of input. And funny enough, Mark, you're next to last because I know you'll have good input. So I want to know at least 2 or 3 things that if people are watching this show and go, look, guys, I don't want to see this to the show this year. And I'm going to start of it. If you're in a gravel, my start thing right now, which I don't know why I've ever seen this and it's happened. If you're getting a shark car show and you're doing a burnout in a gravel pit and you're throwing rocks into people's cars, don't do it. Right, exactly. Look at Reggie. Look at the fist there. So I'm going to start with Dino. We're going to go from Dino to Danny. Reggie, if you want to jump in and give some input, please let me know. Then to Mark, and then to Joel. And I want at least you can give 1 or 2, like 3 at the most, though. So keep it to that. So Dino, you're first.
All right, I'll start with that. People doing burnouts in the middle of car shows. If you're gonna have a car, if you're gonna allow that, do it separate from the cars. I see a lot of shows, the people bringing a car don't respect that part, and even I'll go into number 2, revving the car. And while you got somebody sitting behind the car where their car is. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. This one is more of a spectator thing. Going to a show, don't touch the cars.
That's number 1. That is rule 1.
Okay, I think everybody here, we can unanimously go, don't touch your cars is actually number 1 on the list, right?
I'll tell you this much. When I went to Vegas for the Lowrider Super Show, that's one thing you don't see there. The spectators, I mean, most of the cars are roped off, but a lot of them weren't. Mm-hmm. The spectators do not touch the car. Even the kids, they have their kids so far away from the car. I noticed that there, and I see here is total opposite. They'll throw their kids behind the ropes and everything. If you look up right now, the Philly auto shows going on, they have pictures of people sitting on motorcycles, and these are regular people's cars. They're not like, Ford's cars or whatever. And that's not supposed to happen. And I just recently read there was almost a fight because somebody said, hey, you can't just put your kid in my car. And the parent got upset.
Yep.
So I don't blame the kid. I blame the parent. So make sure you hold your kids. Do not touch
Let
the
your
cars.
kids touch the cars. Real good. So Danny, you're up next if you want it. What do you got? Give me 3.
I got more like, if you go into the show, if you don't like the car, don't say anything, or just process, or just like that they're doing what they're doing. They could build it.
Yes.
No point in the hate.
Preach that. Oh, I love that.
If it's a car that you notice somebody has rep wheels on it, whatever, they're spending what they can to build what they want. Let the person enjoy their imagination for their car, their personality they want to build on that car.
And I think we've really started to learn that in the last year and this year. I think that's really going to start to sink in. I think people who are, I want to say, bashing other cars are going to start to see pushback this year. And I think that's going to be a big deal. What do you have do you have a number 2 yet? Or
yeah, I got number 2. It's this is why you got to think with this stuff. Is like respect the person that's running the show.
Yeah.
If he's putting out rules, or he's like no trash, like you'll notice a lot of people leave trash everywhere. Like how would you like if we all showed up to your house and just dumped all the trash on your lawn? You'd be pretty damn pissed off. Now it's going to ruin it for everybody else, especially if it's a good spot.
I want to add.
They're not going to want you to come back.
I want to add thinking to that, Danny, and this is something that I think you'll really like for me to give input to. When you go to a show, the first thing that everybody says is, if it's Mark's show, for instance, a perfect example. When I'm going to Mark's show, it's Mark's show. I want us to stop thinking that. I want us to think that every show you go to, I want you to own that show with the owner. I know that Mark will probably say this too and look over and say, look, my show is not just my show. It's this good because you guys out there in the audience, the people that show up and give the support, you are just as important to being this show and part of this community, if you will, that you need to take ownership. And the reason I say that is because if it's somebody else's house and we throw a party and we spill drinks, that's somebody else's problem. But if you own that show and it's your house, then you will definitely take care of your house. At least I hope you will. I think that at least encompass 90% of the people out there to say, look, take care of this show and this space like it was your own, and own that show. If somebody else does something, pick up for them. Let's own this community. And if we can own it together, then we can change a lot of people's perception about us. That we've had bad perception in the past. We're not always looked at as something positive. So to change that, we need to own it and go out there and say, hey, there's some trash. I'm going to go over and pick that up. Or, hey, you dropped that. If you're in my club, look over at the guy in your club and say, don't leave that trash there. Clean that up, man. This is our property. This is our show. We own this. And I think if you change that mindset, I think that's going to be a big change. So do you have a number?
100%. Yeah, I got a number 3. This is one that's been circling around lately.
Yep.
Which I read up on, and I'm like, well, who gives a crap? So apparently people are going around saying, and if your car is not JDM, if it's not from Japan.
Yep.
The way I look at it, yes, it's not technically a JDM car. It's technically a USDM car because it was sold for the US market. Well, who gives a crap? It's a Japanese company. Like, people need to stop, how do I put it, more, not have such a strict title on a car. If somebody wants to say their car is JDM because it's, say, like Subaru, because that's this big one going around, your Subaru's not JDM. Okay. Technically, no, it was built for US. Because it's not right-hand drive, who cares? It's a JDM. It's a Japanese company. Mm-hmm. It should just be, let them say JDM. Where are they going to go? Oh, I got to go to USDM for trophy because my Subaru's a US car.
Right. Yeah,
that's going to like fuck everything all up.
And if people out there are hearing this and you're seeing this show after we get done and you're seeing it on regular on the channel of ECS on either YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. Make sure that you can put something in the comments below and respond to some of these, whether you agree or disagree. I want to add in here, Joe was saying no two-step loud music or burnouts, which I think we already did the burnout thing too. So, and chaotic, Danny is saying, as a photographer, it's frustrating to go to a show to try to take pictures of the cars while the owners are hovering around it. They're either sitting in front of the car or next to the car. Get away from the car. Don't be near it. I think that's more of a personal request from us photographers to say, a lot of you guys are sitting certain ways in the thing. If you want the attention of the photographer, move out of the way. If you don't want the attention of the photographer, then let them know, hey, there's a reason we're sitting in front of it. It's all in mind. And then Josh was saying, same with filming. I can't film your ride if you're sitting in front of it. So that's something I just want to say, not so much etiquette, but to make those drivers out there that we as photographers are going around taking a picture of your car. And if you want your car on the cover of a magazine, be a part of that process. So Mark, you're up next, buddy. Give me the 3.
I really don't have 3. I mean, well, maybe I do. The first one really is to just respect everybody's car. Just respect everybody's build, whatever. Some people say it's not a build because you didn't build it from scratch. I agree with what my man over here was saying about JDM and all of this. It's like, just respect everyone's build or project, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know,
if they get it wrong, just take a deep breath and go, it's okay.
Yeah, and if you don't like the car, just don't have anything rude to say about it. You know, just keep it moving. Keep your opinion, a bad opinion to yourself. You're not gonna say anything nice.
To add something to that, can I say this with this? The other thing is that remember that the people that you're doing, they may be their first time out and they're trying to build something. So not giving them negative criticism, but try to give them some positive and just go, you know what, that's not how I would do it. Have you thought about doing it this way versus that sucks? One gets a friend and one makes you an enemy.
Right.
And that is so spot on, because I'll give you a real good one on that. Is the first year I bought my car, I knew I wanted it to be a theme. And when me and my daughter were watching the Black Panther movie so much, and she screamed out Black Panther when the guy drove the car around. So automatically I knew what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But when I had the idea of doing the vinyl wrap on the car, I had no idea of what I was getting myself into with graphics design. I went to a print shop and I thought I knew what I was doing. So I had them print out what I wanted on the hood to start it off. And it turns out it was a piece of shit. Looking back at it now, Right. And a lot of people complimented it, and some people gave their honest opinion. And those honest opinions, that's what made me get better. Right. That's what made me go back, find a graphics designer, and really do something quality that people can grow to respect.
Yeah. And I think I first saw your car in what is it? Was it the show? I forgot which one it was, but I was filming and I went out and I said, I have to film that car because of how nice it looks now.
Well, like to add on to your car, like my RX-7, I did a theme to it. Everybody knows it, but some people are like, why do you have red suns on it and New England Innovations on your windshield? Pick a thing. Well, New England Innovations is my car club. Second of all, red suns, if nobody knows red suns on a yellow FDR7, do I really have to explain that?
Right.
Yes, you do. People do not understand the initial D references to me. Right.
Okay, my son only just started watching Initial D.
Right, Mark, did you have a third one, or were you good with the?
I have a second one.
Okay.
That was my first one.
You're on 2 already. Go again.
So the second one, my second one, I would definitely say is for the photographers, is that guys are next to their cars because typically at car shows, until your car gets judged, you want to stand by your car and just be able to talk to the judges. So that's why for photographers, it gets a little, but all the photographers got to do, because me personally, when I see photographers come to my car, I just get the hell out of the way. Yeah. If they have a camera or their phone or whatever, and I just wait until when I see the judges going around, and then I stand by my car. Right.
Maybe that's why I've never won a trophy. I'm always gone. I'm never around my car. I'm gone.
That was you read my article that said how to win a car.
Bro, you always you want to stay at your car till it gets judged.
Right.
No, I'm too busy trying to look at everybody else's car because there's a lot of badass cars, and I'm like, I don't want to stand right here. I'm over there. All right.
Right.
So that's a big deal with car shows. You stay by your car till you get judged, and then I'm off. Once my car gets judged, I'm out. I'm up enjoying the show. The last one I have is really just for the car community promoters.
Nice.
And this one is since
I'm feeling attacked.
since day one, I've gotten to this scene. I've always promoted everyone's event. If I can make it, I'm there. I'm at especially the big car shows or the shows, the promoters in my general area. So I just feel like it's important for other car promoters to show that same respect. And I feel like it doesn't happen a lot in New England amongst the promoters in New England. But I feel like when other promoters come, like let's say IFO comes to New England, I feel like every promoter in New England is clamoring to go support them, but they're not supporting each other. Like we're all in New England, so it's like I go to Broke, I go to Honda Fest, I go to, I could keep going on down the line. So it's like yeah, I go to all these car shows and I support all their events, and then we throw an event and it's like, okay, I feel like you should come and show that same respect, but it's not like that. But let Honda, not Honda Fest, but let IFO or
Hot Import
Nights come out here, and everybody acts like they've never seen a car show before.
Right.
So it's
import
like
face off.
Yeah, import face off too. Like it's like, come on, bro. It's like, really? So it's like, all right, I see how it is. So it's like, you guys want to support everyone else, but you don't want to support your own.
Right.
Yeah, now that's my problem with the car community in New England.
Yeah. And I think that
happens here too.
We all need to.
Yeah, I think it's all over. I don't think that's necessarily a New England centric.
Mm-hmm.
You have people here in Jersey. They run against each other. They'll run a show today just to mess with me. It's the craziest thing. I'm like, why would you? And they'll run like 5 miles apart.
Well, I'll add this. I'll add this to it, and I'll say it like this.
It's weird, bro. It's like, and then I know what you're talking about, because I'll see like one promoter that used to be cool with this guy, and he'll plan a car show on the same day as him, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, there's enough money for everyone to make, so I don't understand why would you go through.
I'm not sure it's 100% on purpose. I mean, because the problem is that there isn't like a website that has like all of these like shows listed with before they even officially choose the date, right? My website like at least has like a rough idea of what month they've normally occurred, but it doesn't necessarily say the exact date.
I don't want to cut you off, but here's the thing. The majority of those big shows, they come out here on those same dates.
It's usually the same weekend. It's it's always like the third Sunday of whatever month kind of thing. So, yeah, I agree.
I hear what you're saying, but there's some what going on.
Yeah.
And
I will say that there, like a lot of times when there's like a new event that comes up, like somebody like takes like they want to start a new event, they don't even bother checking like what's currently happening. Like they don't even do like a research of like what they're competing against. And like I think like I made the joke I think like Thursday night to Primo that like May 15th is like I think I already have like 40 shows listed just for that one day in May.
And that's weird to me because here's the thing. Check this out. I planned my show from in December. I'm pretty cool with Import Face Off. I knew off the rip that their show was going to be on that weekend. So I automatically start checking the list, seeing the dates, and just saying, you know what? I'm not stepping on no one's toes. It's my first time doing a show in Massachusetts. I wouldn't dare do a show on the same weekend as them. Like, why would you even do that to yourself?
You know, they had an issue here recently. Somebody, I just watched it here in Jersey. They had an issue of running the same venue so close. So let's say, for instance, I run a show with ACO. Now you come and you run a show with ACO a week later, but I constantly run at ACO all the time. There's like no like respect. And then now like it kind of goes into what we said in the beginning, money and gas prices. So if I'm running the same venue and then you're coming a week later running the same venue, why would somebody come to my show when they could go to yours or vice versa? You understand? There's nothing different.
Yeah. And I'm gonna add it to this too. And I don't think that's so much just something we're talking about etiquette as the overall. I think that what we're talking about right now is something that's a problem that we've been aware of for quite some time now. I think it's something that we either have something like Joel who makes a database that we can share, something that's based on geography. In other words, here's the support area that you're in and what shows you're going to support. And then finally, it comes to the idea of us getting together as a group. Like today, the gathering, the clubs in our area happened, and all these clubs got together and said, these are the events that we're going to promote and do. And I think that's something, I think there's a whole show that should be dedicated to that. So before I jump to Joel for the last one, I just had somebody new jump in, and you get to introduce yourself and tell me where you're from.
What's going on, guys? It's Miami here, Western Mass. What's up, Mark? What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What up?
Well, now I'm with my new brand is pulled up. So you guys might know me from last year at the Big E when I help put together a show. But so I just joined in. I had a family function, so just catching up with what you guys are doing. I was just listening to Mark, and I totally agree with Mark big time. And me and him, we've been talking because we're from New England. We do shows in New England. And us old school people back in the day, we used to communicate with each other so we won't step on other people's shoes, especially if you're throwing a show the same day or in the same area. And nowadays it's just a lot of clout. A lot of people just want the attention. So they just want to throw shows on top of shows and don't respect those people who have been doing it for a long time. Mind you, I just got into this game a couple of years ago because I did DJ, for example, Hot Import Nights. I DJ'd Yukon. I DJ'd a lot of shows, and I started networking with people and getting to know people. And I said, you know what, let me get back into this game, because back down in Miami in the 90s, you only had 5 categories. You had everybody come on and support you. And then after the show, if somebody had to complain about it, they'll tell you face to face instead of behind social media. So the problem with this age right now is, let's put it to you like this. They like to talk the smack behind a computer or a phone, but they won't tell you face to face. And that's
the keyboard bravery.
If I tell you straight up, look, I didn't know how you judge this or judge that, I'll tell you face to face, because I think it's more personal and people will respect you more if you say it face to face. By all means, I'm not coming in here thinking I'm the godfather of car shows. I've been around major events. I have an idea how to run an event. But at the same time I came in here and I respected everyone, because, I'm new to this game in this area. I'm not new to the game, period. I'm old school. You know what I mean? But if I could come in here and support my local event promoters, why not? Ask Mark. Ask Mark how much I've helped him out, and we've helped each other out. You know what I mean? It's not, no, I'm not gonna help you do this because you're my competition or you this. First of all, I'm not a money grabber, so I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I think the shows could be better than what they've been. Okay, so, and I'm always about charity, giving back to the community. I really don't need the clout because, you know, DJing and doing this and that, you know, I'm already getting too old to be famous. You know what I mean? I really don't care. I just like hanging out with people, talking about cars, talking about their builds, so on and so on. But again, going back to social media, you know, I did the show, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly how this show went down. So the Big E, if you're not familiar, is I think the third or fourth biggest fairgrounds in the United States. I decided to throw an indoor and outdoor car show during the pandemic, during heavy restrictions. So I was told not to fill in the building inside with cars. I wasn't allowed to have general admission, people just coming through the gates. They had to come per hour and then leave.
Yeah.
I had all these restrictions. And all I got was backlash. And I'm not even from this area. We put up the money to do this big event during the pandemic. Mind you, our governor basically was going to lift restrictions a week after our show. So should I push the show a week later and screw everybody else? No, I kept it. I did it. The show was actually pretty good for being under restrictions. You know, it was pretty good. But then I got compliments from everybody outside of Massachusetts. And then everybody around here was just like, I should have won the trophy. I should have done this. So going by what Mark is saying, sometimes you try to do something for the community and trying to help the local car scene. But then at the end of everything, they just bash you the day after or the same day. So that's another thing about this car scene is like, instead of just doing this for fun and just giving everybody some, you know, some awards and complimenting them on their builds, no matter what it is, you start getting hate from those that were supporting you because they thought they were going to win a category. You're going to treat them differently than everybody else. I took a lot of backlash. And yes, I was upset because there were certain promoters who jumped on that and was basically saying, you know, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have done that. You know, I was a little upset. But again, everything is about social media. Tell me to my face. Be mad. I'm 40 something years old. Come up to me and tell me how I can do better, what I can do better. Because we all learn from our mistakes. You learn from nobody here is the best in anything. We learn from our mistakes and we try to get to the level to provide a good product. But all this bashing is like literally, I said, I'm not going to do any more shows locally. Trying to do one in New Jersey. I look at the list. I try not to do it on the same day as somebody else. I'm trying to go in other states so I don't have this backlash from my local community, which is kind of messed up. You know what I mean? I'm coming on here just to see, you know, is there any way that we could do things better? Yeah, everybody. All types of businesses can do better. Everybody could do better. But this little back and forth with social media and stuff like that, it's like, you know what? If we have to meet somewhere, if we get all the promoters from New England and meet in Boston or whatever and talk things over, why don't we do that? No, you know, I want to make more money than you. I want to be better than you. I want to do this. I want to be the top, blah, blah, blah. That's not my game. I don't care what he does, you do. I don't care. Because if I did, then my product wouldn't be where it is right now. You know what I mean?
Well, I definitely don't want money. I'm just an attention whore.
But that's what I'm saying is like some people do it for different reasons. You know what I mean? And it's like, I support whoever wants to support me. And I don't have to, you know, Mark never came up to me and say, oh, I need your support. No, I already gave it to him without him even asking. But then it's like, why talk all this smack? So what are you going to get out of that? What exactly are you trying to get out of just talking bad about other people's show?
Yeah.
That's the only thing is like we're all
15 seconds of
yeah. You know, I wasn't perfect. My show was not perfect. Mm-hmm. It could have been way better. But mind you, and you guys on the magazine, you guys have gone to different shows. And recently, indoor shows have been only allowing 100 cars. We had way over 100 cars in our show and back in May under restrictions. But you don't see me bashing people. Your shit sucks.
Well, that's one thing. I unfortunately got to cut you short because we have come to the end of the show, Rex. I did want you to be able to get the stuff out there because I think you had a lot of stuff and it came from the heart, and you did want to get it out. So that's something next week. I do want to have some people on that where we can talk about some of the things that you just brought up. Unfortunately, Joel, he took your time, so you're number 3. You're gonna have to put it in.
My bad, Joe.
But yeah, we're as always next week. Next week, I do want to talk about something that was brought up in the chat, and there's apps. A lot of people were talking about applications and how we can share shows on applications and kind of what is the big application out there. So if you guys know those, go out and do some research and let us know. Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Octane, maybe it's Motor One. There's a couple of different apps out there that everybody has, and I want to kind of get some input for those. So if somebody's out in the audience and you work with an app or you do something like that, we want to hear from you. So that's next week. I want to thank everybody that came out tonight. Reggie, Mark Campbell from Next Gen Car Club, Joel Chappell from NewEnglandAutoShow.com, Dino, photographer for ECS Magazine, Danny Racing, New England Innovations. So Reggie, I'm going to let you take us out for tonight. This has been Primo from the Executive Automotive Society. It's all yours, Reggie, to end it out, buddy.
Well, for one, I appreciate everybody to coming over to the ECS Magazine Hangout once again on Saturday night on Facebook and YouTube. I want everybody, just like Next Gen said and a few others said and Juan said, I want everybody, no matter what type of custom car you build, I want everybody to treat everybody equally, no matter what race, what kind of car, it don't matter. Support each other, help each other, build together, and let's all go to these car shows together and keep this going. The ECS Magazine's been around for over 21 years. I'd like to still be here 20 years from now with everybody being together instead of secluded away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I have love for each and every one of y'all and everyone that views this channel. I have love for all types of custom builds, whether some of y'all hate them or some of y'all love them. I love them all. I don't care.
I'm the same way.
So I'm not going to ruin the vibe because I hate to tell y'all this, I am 12 days or more behind getting the March print magazine out. I got to get back to that. Plus, we got another magazine we're releasing, and I will come live and let everybody know what the new news is going to be, whether you're into that or not. I was trying to get him in here, but he won't go live. We have another magazine that we're releasing as well with ECS. So, but I got to get back to the March print magazine. I got the hustle on that. I'll probably be working on the freaking thing all day tomorrow too. We got some car shows coming up that we're booked up to. Dino just did a car show recently. Yep. So that's going to be in the next print. Danny did a photo shoot, I think, for the next print already for today. So we're going to be busy, guys. We got a lot of car shows going on all over the East Coast of the United States. We're not just New England based. We're East half of the United States strong. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, all the way up. We do it all, baby. 21 years. We love you guys, the ECS Magazine. I hate to cut this short, but we've been doing this damn thing for an hour and a half.
No doubt. No doubt. Happy daylight saving. Everybody about to lose an hour of sleep now.
Oh God, I didn't want to do
that. Oh yeah. There you go, Mark. There you go.
Sorry to break the news.
Why don't you give me a paper cut and pour lemon juice all over it? Thank you very much.
I want all you guys to come back next Saturday and invite some more people for next Saturday on ECS Magazine Facebook and on YouTube. We want to push the shit out of this. We're going to grow this channel. We're going to reach all different types of cars, muscle cars, lowriders, imports, you name it. If it's got wheels, it runs like a motor, and it looks cool, we love it. All right, guys, we're out.
All right. Take it
Later.
easy.
Peace, guys.